Okay, recording. So next one, you already studied about the problem that faced by the traders, right? We discussed that. So it is difficult for them to travel from one place to another with this trade barriers, and measurements also not accurate or not correct. So that were the problem that faced by the traders in the France and Europe. So such conditions were viewed as an obstacle to economic exchange and growth by the new commercial classes, who argued for the creation of a unified economic territory, allowing the unhindered movement of goods, people, and capital. Okay, so the traders faced lots of problem because of these customs barriers. Okay, or customs blockades there, right? They have to pay. They used to pay. Customs duties in these trade barriers, so it is not favorable for them, it is not good for them. Okay, so what happened, they started demanding for a unified customs duty, unified customs union. Okay, in 1834 a customs union or Sollavarian, okay, we already wrote that, I think so, underline that. A customs union or a Sollavarian was formed at the initiative of Prussia and joined by most of the German states. Okay, so Prussia started a customs union called Sollavarian, and a number of other German states also joined with that. Okay, the trade union abolished tariff barriers and reduced the number of currencies from over 30 to 2. Okay, so in that region, they basically followed more than 30 currencies. And after the creation of Sollavarian, the currencies, number of currencies that reduced to 2 from 30. Okay, the creation of network of railways further stimulated mobility and introduced railway that improved the movement of goods, capital, and people from one place to another. Okay, harnessing economic interest of national unification, a wave of economic nationalism strengthened the wider nationalist sentiment growing at that time. So, number of countries joined together. Okay, so they created their own currency. Okay, the number of currencies that reduced from 30 to 2. Okay, and the introduction of a rail that improve the movement of goods, capital, and people from one place to another. Okay, that all help the people to think about a country, single territory. Clear or not? So that creation of single country will solve all their problem. That's what the idea of the new middle class. Clear? So at that time, what happened? The idea of nationalism emerged. So please read that paragraph, 2 minutes, and any doubt, Mr. you can ask you first.
Sir, that obstacles to money economic exchange means.
Okay, obstacle in the sense of hindrances, blocks. Okay.
So unhindered.
Hindered opposite unhindered. Territory allowed unhindered movement. Okay, without any obstacles. So because of the unification, they can easily transferred goods, people, and capital without any block. Okay, without any hindrance. That's what. Okay, so come back. 2.3. New conservatism after 1815. New conservatism after 1815. So this term is very much important for you people. Conservatism is just against liberalism. What is that? Liberalism. Opposite of conservatism. That's what liberalism. So what is conservatism? You can see here. It's a political philosophy that stressed the importance of tradition, established institutions and customs, and preferred gradual development to quick change. Clear? So basically speaking, so the people, the conservatives, they are the believers of despotism, basically we can say. The rule of the kings or queens. Traditional rule, right? Okay, so conservatism is a political philosophy that giving importance for tradition. Okay, rule of the kings. That's it. So following the defeat of Napoleon in 1815, so Napoleon Bonaparte was defeated by the combined forces of Britain, Prussia, Russia, Austria. We studied that, right? Okay, so in the year 1815, after that what happened? European governments were driven by the spirit of conservatism. Okay, so after 1815, Okay, what happened? The entire Europe that divided and give powers to different kings from different dynasties. Okay, so they give importance for conservatism. Okay, they give importance for despotic rule of the kings. So conservatives believed that established traditional institutions of the state and society, like the monarchy, the church, social hierarchies, property and the family should be preserved. So the conservatives, they came forward or came with this idea. What is that? Want to protect the monarchy, want to protect the kings, want to protect the church, okay, church people or the priests, want to protect the social hierarchies. We already know that the society that divided, okay, like the first, second, third, clergy, nobility and the third estate. Okay, want to establish it again. Clear? Napoleon Bonaparte and the liberals, they destructed all these structures, but after the fall of Napoleon, these conservatives again brought back all these changes. Clear? They moved back to the old tradition, and the importance of protecting family and property. So only the clergy and nobility have the right to keep property with them. We know that, right? Okay, before the French Revolution. Now, after the fall of Napoleon, again they brought that rule back. Most conservatives, however, did not propose a return of the society of pre-revolutionary days. But most of these conservatives, most of these kings, or most of these rulers, they not supported a government or a system that existed before French Revolution, right? They want some changes. Clear? What changes is that? Rather, they realized from the changes initiated by Napoleon that modernization could in fact strengthen traditional institutions like the monarchy. Okay, so they came to know that. Okay, they find that the changes that made by Napoleon in his period, the period of Napoleonic Code, Napoleon's rule, that is good, or those rules are good, and that strengthened the government. It could make state power more effective and strong. So Napoleon's administrative changes that created a stronger government. So the new monarchs also tried to follow that. A modern army, Napoleon created a modern army, an efficient bureaucracy, officials, a dynamic economy. Development is there in the economy, production increased. The abolition of feudalism and serfdom could strengthen the autocratic monarchies of Europe. So feudalism destructed. Serfdom destructed. Now the government or the kings can directly control the people. That the changes that made by Napoleon, all these changes that made by Napoleon. Now these changes that helped the monarchies to develop in Europe. Okay. So in 1815, representatives of the European powers, Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, who had collectively defeated Napoleon, met at Vienna to draw up a settlement of Europe. The Congress was hosted by the Austrian Chancellor, Duke Metternich. Underline that. Okay. So we wrote that notes. We discussed that already. Please underline that. The countries, jointly, they defeated Napoleon. The countries are Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, with the leadership of Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. Completed? Okay, fine. So Congress was hosted with the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. So after the fall of Napoleon, they met in a place to discuss about the future of Europe. Okay, that's what the place name is, Vienna, and this Congress, the meeting is named as the, what you can say, the Congress of Vienna, underline that. Congress of Vienna in the year 1815. Okay, so what happened? In that Congress of Vienna, they redrew the map of Europe. Okay, so we can see here, draw up the Treaty of Vienna of 1815 with the object of undoing the most of the changes that had come about the Europe during the Napoleonic Wars. So at the time of Napoleon's rule, Napoleon made a number of administrative changes and annexed, okay, clear or not, annexed a number of neighboring countries and added those countries with France. And in the Congress of Vienna, in that meeting, all these European powers, they decided we will undo the changes that made by Napoleon. Clear? Already Napoleon made a number of changes, so they decided to make changes in that things there. The Bourbon dynasty, which had been deposed during the French Revolution, was restored to power. So before 1789, at the time of French Revolution, right, 1789, before that, the Bourbon dynasty ruled France. Clear or not? Before 1789, who ruled France? The Bourbon dynasty, the Bourbon kings. Clear? So after the fall of Napoleon, again what happened here? That power, okay, the power, the kingship that give to the Bourbon kings again. And France lost the territories that annexed under Napoleon. So number of countries were annexed by Napoleon and added along with France. All those countries France lost. France lost all those areas. A series of states were set up on the boundaries of France to prevent French expansion in future, right? So France lost its territories, and near the territories, number of new countries formed. Number of new countries are formed. Basically, that to stop the movement of French people to annex other countries in the future. Thus, the Kingdom of Netherlands, which included Belgium, was set up in the north, and Genoa was added in the Piedmont in the south. Prussia was given important in new territories on its western frontiers. Okay, while Austria was given control on the northern Italy, but the German Confederation of the 39 states that had been set up by Napoleon was left untouched. This is what the changes of the Treaty of Vienna. So write down the question. Write a short note on. Write a short note on. Changes that made by the Treaty of Vienna in the year 1815. Okay.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Repeating. Write a short note on the administrative changes that made by Treaty of Vienna of 1815. 1815, 1815. This is the answer here. Okay.
Sir, that full paragraph.
Full paragraph. Okay, so already you wrote the notes there. Please check that. If you want to reduce that, you can reduce also. But almost all the points are there in the notes. Please check that. Next paragraph. Conservative regimes means a period of rule, set up in 1815 were autocratic. So after 1815, new governments came into existence in different parts of Europe, and almost all those governments are autocratic, monarchical type. They did not tolerate criticism and dissent, and sought to curb activities that questioned the legitimacy of autocratic government. So the newly formed governments in Europe after the fall of Napoleon in the year 1815 or after the Vienna Congress, okay, new governments are not ready to listen anything from the side of the people. Okay, basically they are strictly controlled, or they started strictly controlling the administration or the people. Okay, they did not tolerate criticism. They not allowed anybody to criticize them or say something against the government. They don't want the dissent. The people want to accept the rules that are made by the government, and so to curb the activities, okay, that question the legitimacy of the autocratic government. If anybody speak against the government, they started arresting them, imprisoning them, like that various measurements they took to protect the government. Most of them imposed censorship laws to control that what was said in newspapers, books, plays and songs, and reflected the ideas of liberty and freedom. So any news is related with the freedom and liberty is there in the newspaper, okay, the government they will not allow it. Okay, they're not ready to publish such kind of news. They are not ready to tolerate the plays, basically dramas that include the values of freedom or liberty. Okay, so the government is against freedom and liberty. They did the things to protect the government basically, and they are against the will of the people. Will of the people, basically the idea of liberty and freedom. They are against the idea of liberty and freedom. So associated with the French Revolution, the memory of the French Revolution nonetheless continued to inspire liberals. One of the major issues taken up by the liberal nationalists who criticized the new conservative order was freedom of press. So at the time of the French Revolution 1789, basically the people, they participated in the revolution against the monarchy by using these two techniques, two values, liberty and freedom. They fought for equality, they fought for liberty, they fought for fraternity. But what happened? Okay, after the fall of Napoleon in the year 1815, the government stopped all such movements based on the idea of liberty, equality and fraternity. Clear? So the people, those who believe in these ideas are basically termed as the revolutionaries. Revolutionaries, the people they are ready to fight against the monarchy. Okay, 2 minutes, please read it. Come on fast. Yes or no? They have to operate secretly only. That's what the secret society, is clear. What I told, this liberal nationalist, after 1815, most of these liberal nationalists escaped, clear or not? Escaped in the sense they have to escape, otherwise the conservatives will kill them. Because the rule of the king, it is the rule of the king or monarch or despotism. So the liberals are against the conservatives, so they escaped. And they started organizing programs in underground, right? Clear or not? Underground activities, secret activities. So they started number of secret societies. What kind of societies are? Secret societies. Okay. To be revolutionary at this time meant a commitment to oppose monarchical forms. So at that period, one person says that I am a revolutionary, I am a liberal, which means they are against the king. They are against the king. Okay. Monarchical forms that had been established after the Vienna Congress and to fight for liberty and freedom. So someone says that I am a liberal, which means that individual is against the rule of the king, okay, rule of the monarch, okay, clear or not? That established after the Vienna Congress and these people trying to protect liberalism in the country, and the freedom in the country. Most of these revolutionaries also saw the creation of nation state as the necessary part of their struggle of freedom. So you can see a picture there, number of revolutionaries are there. So these revolutionaries, they believed that, okay, they wanted to create countries on the basis of democracy, not a despotic one, not a, what do you say, a conservative one. Okay, they want to create a democratical governments. That's what the idea of the revolutionaries. One such individual was the Italian revolutionary Giuseppe Mazzini. Underline his name. Pisan, are you sleeping there? Huh? So listen here. So one such a revolutionary, Italian revolutionary, he's from Italy. Okay, and he wanted to create a country on the basis of democracy. He is against the rule of the king. Okay, so that is, who is that? Giuseppe Mazzini. He is a revolutionary. Okay, born in Geneva in 1807, had become the member of the secret society of Carbonari. Underline that. So Giuseppe Mazzini joined in a secret society called Carbonari. Secret society means it's a group of people, a group of liberals. They are against the conservative regime, okay, or the rule of the kings. Okay. As a young man of 24 years, he was sent to exile in 1831 for attempting a revolution at Liguria. Okay, so he planned a revolution against the king in that place. Okay, so he was captured by the military of the king and sent to exile. Okay, he sent to some other area. Okay, he made up to stay away from his country. Okay, in which year? 1831. Okay, he subsequently founded 2 more underground societies. So it's an important question. Write a short note on Giuseppe Mazzini. Come on. Write the question. Write a short note on Giuseppe Mazzini. The question is here. The spelling is here. Giuseppemazini. Giuseppe Mazzini. Okay, so it's a very important question. Short note, important question. Okay. As a young man of 24, he was sent into exile in 1831 for attempting a revolution in Liguria. He subsequently founded 2 more underground societies first. Okay, so he was once joined in Carbonari, a secret society, and he himself founded another 2 societies. First one, Young Italy in Marseilles. Okay, Young Italy, founded by Giuseppe Mazzini in Marseilles, and then Young Europe in Bern, and Young Europe in Bern. So Young Italy and Young Europe are the two secret societies formed by Giuseppe Mazzini, and he himself joined in a secret society called Carbonari. Okay, come back. So Young Europe in Bern, whose members were like-minded young men from Poland, France, Italy, and German states. So who are the members of Young Europe? Okay, the people from different countries. Okay, the young people from different countries, they all against the conservative rule. They are all against the rule of the king in the different part of Europe, So they joined in that secret society. Okay, here you can see Mazzini believed that God had intended nations to be the natural units of mankind. So Mazzini's belief is nothing but God created this country to, or countries to, or countries for whom the people, the individuals, the people, and they are free to lead a life in that territories, on that countries there. Okay, so nobody want to control them. They are free. They want to enjoy freedom and liberty, it seems. So Italy could not continue to be a patchwork of small states and kingdom. It had to be forged into a single unified republic within the wide alliance of nations. So he believed that that period, Italy to us, the country that we know as Italy today, once it was divided into several small states there. So as per Giuseppe Mazzini, Italy want to unite, because the people, those who living in different parts of or different fragments of today's Italy at that time, okay, basically they have to join. They are sharing the common culture. So they have to join together to create a single country. This unification alone could be the basis of Italian liberty. And he believed that if he is able to unite all these parts and create a country called Italy, it is helpful for the people to enjoy freedom. Okay, following this model, secret societies were set up in Germany, France, Switzerland, and Poland. Mazzini's relentless opposition to monarchy and his vision of democratic republic frightened the conservatives. So Mazzini always thought about creating democratic countries, and constantly he fought, and his people fought against the monarchy or the kings. So everyone, all the kings and the rulers are afraid of Giuseppe Mazzini and his people. So Duke Metternich, already we studied about Duke Metternich, right? The person behind the fall of Napoleon Bonaparte. Okay, Duke Metternich once commented, okay, the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Giuseppe Mazzini is the very dangerous enemy of the conservatism or a conservative order. That's what Metternich commented. So Metternich is the part of conservatism. Okay, the part of monarchy. Okay, so he commented that Giuseppe Mazzini, he is the most dangerous enemy of our social order. It's a one mark question. Okay, Giuseppe Mazzini as the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Who commented? Okay, or read the comment that made by Metternich on Giuseppe Mazzini. What is that? The most dangerous enemy of our social order. The most dangerous enemy of our social order, right? Okay, so these parts are not that much easy to understand. Okay, then what is your comment? Is that clear or not? These things are clear or not? I told about conservatism, I told about liberalism, I told about revolutionaries, I told the names of number of revolutionaries, different revolutionary organizations. These things are clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here is SCTC, yes. Other people, they are shaking their heads. Okay, clear. So what is the basic concept here? There are two groups of people. One group it is conservatives, opposite is liberals. Clear or not? The liberals are against the conservative ideas. So after the fall of Napoleon Bonaparte, the conservatives started ruling different countries in Europe. So liberals, they started fighting against them. Clear or not? By organizing number of secret societies. One of such secret societies, the Carbonari. Okay, Giuseppe Mazzini joined in that group, Carbonari. Okay, he became a great revolutionary, and he created fear in the minds of the monarchs or the kings, right? Who? Giuseppe Mazzini. He himself, he found two secret societies called, one is the Young Italy, other is the Young Europe. Number of people from different countries in Europe, they joined with Giuseppe Mazzini, and they started to fight against the conservatives. Clear? Clear or not? Or the kings or the queens there, right? Okay, so Duke Metternich, he is the one who defeated Napoleon Bonaparte in 1815. He commented that, what is the comment? Giuseppe Mazzini is the most dangerous enemy of our social order. Okay, basically social order means the rule of the conservatives. Clear or not? Clear or not? That's what the things we studied today. Okay, so it is very important for the examination. What is that? What is the new conservatism after 1815? Okay, what is the Congress of Vienna? What are the administrative changes after the Congress of Vienna of 1815? Okay, administrative changes after the Congress of Vienna in the year 1815. Clear? Clear. And write a short note on Giuseppe Mazzini. Giuseppe Mazzini. Write a short note on Giuseppe Mazzini. And the same time, number of 1 mark answers also underlined. Clear? That also want to learn. It is the examination point of view. Okay, learn all those things. This chapter is too important. I already told you people, right? Clear. So this chapter is important means by starting all the chapters, I will say the same, right? This chapter is important for the examination. This chapter is important for the examination. Yes, of course. This chapter is important for the examination. So you mark the questions and answers also, right? Clear? Any doubts? Any questions? So Rashmi says no question. Done, it seems.
Sir, can you repeat,
Okay. Yeah, tell me, Vizan.
sir, can you repeat that last that 1, 2 changes was taken on that Giuseppe Mazzini changes, 2 changes,
Nothing is clear. Tell me what you want to do?
2 changes was there now in Giuseppe Mazzini.
2 changes. What are they?
That one starter segment, 2 changes were taken. And 2 changes.
What are the 2 changes? Related to what?
Related with this revolutionary.
What are the 2 changes that please observe there? Maybe 2 organizations, right? That's it. The 2 organizations that was found by Giuseppe Mazzini. One is Young Italy, the other one is Young Europe. Clear? That was a 1 mark answer only. 1 mark answer. Okay. Clear?
Yes, sir.
The organization that was founded by Giuseppe Mazzini, one is Young Italy in Marseilles, other is Young Europe in Bern. Young Europe in Bern. These are secret societies, names of secret societies of that time. All right. Today we know the terrorist groups are there, right? Okay. Clear or not? So there are different names of what the terrorist groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba, Hizbul Mujahideen, okay, IS. Like that, various names are there for the revolutionary groups, the terrorists there, right? Terrorist groups there. I am not supporting the terrorist groups. For example, I told that. Okay, clear or not? So terrorism, in the sense, terrorists are the heroes of that country, and in our country they are the terrorists, right? Right or not? Clear. Example: Bhagat Singh is a terrorist for the British government. Clear or not? Clear or not? And the same time, he is a hero for Indian historians, right? Yes or no? That is the difference. That is the difference. Clear. And Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is the terrorist for the British government, but for us, he is a hero, right? Right? Is that clear or not? So that is the difference between this, what you can say, terrorists and their activities. So here I told about the groups or revolutionary organizations, secret societies that were found by Giuseppe Mazzini. One is, what is that? What is that? Tell me, Fisan, what are the 2 associations, organizations?
Sir, Young Italy and Young Europe.
Young Italy and Young Europe. They are not Old Italy and Old Europe. Young Italy, Young Europe. Right? Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Anything else? Okay. So moving forward. Okay, fine. So now it is a huge portion, very big. Okay. The age of revolutions. Okay, 2-3 classes we needed to complete that particular portion. Age of revolutions there. So it is 1830 to 1848. So I hope all these ideas for the examination point of view for Saturday, okay, up to here, is clear for you, right? That clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any doubt means you are welcome to call or ask doubts there. Feel free to message me, no problem. Okay, clear? So again, any doubts are there means you can ask me now, no problem. So prepare well for the examination. Okay. So everyone, thank you. We will meet in the next session. Time to wind up the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.